Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Naval Conquests. I'm starting in the bottom left position, playing as the Allies. I have a little announcement to make at the start of this video. Every now and then in the comments I'm asked about other games I play, so it could be Command & Conquer Red Alert 2, Tempest Rising, Command & Conquer Generals, Tiberian Wars I think recently. Now I have been playing a little bit of Red Alert 2 at a very basic and beginner level, or noob level, as you might call it. This channel came out in 2019 and at that time I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so it was like Cossacks 3 games, Sonic Racing video and Tropica 6 video. Those two videos did really well, and it was just a bit of everything. Then the pandemic came and I think I'd stopped doing videos for quite a while before then, and then Command & Conquer Remastered came out. I made a video initially about the quick match, but then I think I started posting consistently in January the following year, and that's when the channel started to gain momentum, and since then really it's been dedicated solely to Command & Conquer Remastered. And that's not going to change. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to set up a second channel, Zach the Reaper RA2. I'll leave the name and link in the description. And I'm going to start posting some Red Alert 2 videos. Of course, the first videos are going to be a very basic gameplay, like a person at beginner level. And hopefully what I'll see is I'm going to improve over time, because I know people who watch this channel, they come for the Red Alert Remastered videos. There may be one or two of you who are interested in Red Alert 2 videos, so that's why I'm mentioning it here. And the first video is going to drop tomorrow, Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Now back to this video. So on Naval Conquests, as many of you know, this is a hybrid map. There's a lot of water in this, and I've started in the bottom left corner. Now this was random position, so I didn't choose to start here, although it is a pretty good position to start, because when you expand to the middle, you're right near the Island of Gems, which is good, but it's not like a game changer in this game. Also, it can be quite tricky in free-for-all matches because all the other players know the Island of Gems is there, and it puts a little bit of a target if you go for that, but it is worth definitely going for. So I am going to be hopefully in a good position, and I'm that nice short journey to that next shoreline, and the Island of Gems is just above that. So I've got my MCV out. I'm just going to pop it out, and I'm going to be getting that ore refinery down quite shortly. I've been a little bit risky with this move because I've decided to go for the ore refinery before I go for the war factory, so that means my tanks are going to be a little bit delayed, but I'm counting on that because it's a free-for-all match, people are going to be a little less cautious. Maybe I'd need to be a bit more careful if it was a team game. And I've also gone for that second MCV, so I'm going to be getting to another shoreline just to the right. I'm going to be getting a little base down here, so that's going to give me a really good position to start with, as long as I can hold the 2 points and I don't get in too much trouble with too many other teams. So getting that base down there, getting set up, I'm going to be getting another ore refinery out. I'm actually going there first, and what I'm going to do now is I need to get some map visibility. I've also got my radar dome out, which is all obviously very, very important on this map, because it's you have to there's like things that can happen everywhere on this map. It's not all focused on one location, so you've got to have your eyes everywhere. And what I'm doing now is I'm just getting one of those ore trucks from my main island and dropping it off here, because I don't want too many trucks mining on my starting island, otherwise it'll just run out of ore, because ore regrows, but if you use it all up, then it regrows very, very slowly. So just having one ore truck on each patch, just prepare for the long game, because what you tend to notice is that games on this map do tend to be a lot longer than games, let's say, on Arena Valley Extreme or something like that. But I mean, free-for-all matches generally, though, can go on for quite a while. And now what I'm doing is I've got my tech center out. What that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to slowly research satellite. And it's also going to let me build cruisers, which do some major damage to buildings. Just getting zoomed out a little bit there. I was zoomed in a little bit too far. And what I need to do now is just getting some power plants out and getting some gap generators, just so they can't see my base. So if someone decides to I don't know if there's any players playing Soviets actually, but it's better if people can't see what's going on in your base, because then they don't know where your weak spots are. It can help you with, like, chrono, I guess. Chrono tanks won't be able to teleport to random spots, and they won't know what's there. What I'm also going to do now is I'm going to go to that gem island, so you can just see there's a little path over there, over the river, with those ore silos, and now I'm going to put a ore refinery right in the centre, and I'm going to really need that, because you can see I am struggling for ore at the moment, and that's because I'm building both tanks and destroyers. And when you're building two types of units, it obviously takes a lot of resources, so I really do need to get that ore refinery up ASAP, and now get a bit of scouting done just to see where the other teams are. I do expect at this point in the game that they will be going to the middle, just get another gap generator there on the gem island, and what I'm also going to do is get some pillboxes just placed around my bases, and especially my tech centre, because that's one thing you don't want to lose. Otherwise, if you lose your tech centre, obviously you lose all map visibility if you research satellite, so that's a really big one. So putting a load of pillboxes there, and just a scouting of pillboxes around other areas, bases on my map, just in case any Tanyas come in. They can be a bit sneaky, and also not just Tanyas, it's also chrono tanks as well, because they can do quite a bit of damage. And now just using some of these medium tanks just to do a little bit of scouting, and I've got actually satellite. I didn't need to send those tanks out scouting, and we can see that cyan is there to the right of me, so it's cyan we're going to go for first. We can see that yellow and pink are in the top right, and they're in very close quarters, although it does look like yellow has pink surrounded at this point in time, and that means pink is going to be stuck in that small island in the top right for the time being. And what they'll probably try and do though is get a chronosphere and then chrono and MCV to one of the other islands, which is uninhabited, maybe the top left. But now we're going in for the attack on cyan. We can see that cyan's built light tanks, and those light tanks aren't holding up very well. It doesn't look like he's moving around much at all at the moment, and those light tanks have gone down very quickly, and now it's just a case of clearing his space up from the bottom, like the middle part of the map. That's going to put a halt to his expansion, and he's going to be stuck back in his starting base in the bottom right hand corner. So we managed to eliminate cyan from the middle of the map. The person who is more risky though is yellow, and we could see yellow firing some shells on that bottom middle part where I was fighting. And now what I'm going to try and do is try and get some naval yards down and get some ships into the middle of the map, but this is a big problem because yellow is sending some destroyers and cruisers over. So what I'm trying to do right now is just get these naval yards built and just get some destroyers out and try and hold this position and get the upper hand, but this is a big problem, and yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble at the moment. And what I'm going to need to do is, I can't really win this fight, so I'm going to need to send my tanks round and eliminate yellow from that middle area. And I'm just trying to build naval yards and keep the destroyers coming out. If I can put the destroyers out and maybe destroy those ships, hopefully I'll be able to get some sort of stronghold. But those cruisers are just keeping on coming. He's keeping on building them, and the numbers are getting greater and greater. And we can see now I'm just completely overwhelmed. There's too many destroyers there, there's too many cruisers. Every time I'm going to pop a ship out, it's going to get destroyed. So my best bet is to go for the land attack. So now we've got medium tanks v medium tanks. This is yellow's middle base, and I think I've got the slightly edge on the medium tank numbers as my reinforcements are coming in, and we should be able to get rid of this middle base. What we want to do is we want to like sort of get rid of some of this economy, and because he's building ships, it's going to be costing him quite a little bit, as well as those tanks. So if we can damage his economy, hopefully we're going to put a halt to his tank production, and he'll run out of funds. Just need to get all these structures down right at the moment, and those medium tanks going down quite quickly. Going to get these radar domes, and once we get these main buildings down, we're going to be absolutely fine and go onto his main base. So now we're going to go on the top, and at the top we can see we've got our destroyers coming round as well, and this is looking really good for us right at the moment. We're on top of one of his war factories, and we can see the all round his starting base is starting to run out. So yellow in mega trouble. We've destroyed that war factory, and now we're going to go for that ore refinery. And what I've just noticed on my screen is there's a little base to the right there. He's done a little bit of an expansion. We're going to take that ore refinery out, and we're also going to take that war factory. What I did notice though is there was no construction yard there, so I don't know if he's like taking it away or something like that. But now we can go onto his main base. He's got a power plant, cap generators, but we can see there's a distinct absence of any tanks around that area, and he's trying to like get me with some naval units, but his main naval units are in the middle of the map, and now we're starting to clear up this base. And what I'm going to do is try and destroy all these structures and hopefully eliminate him from the game, and taking out that power plant. And what I realised later is actually this, it was selected on destroy all. Sometimes the selection switches, so it is destroy all at the moment, and that's why yellow did not get eliminated. But now we can see his naval units are still firing on the land. He's got a transport ship out there as well, but I'm going to be losing that base in the middle, unfortunately. And now I'm going to go for the attack on Pig, because Matthias has used a chronosphere, I think. Or I might have used a transport ship, possibly, because I did go away and attack yellow, so he may have been able to sneak a transport ship there. But now we're going to go for an attack on his base, and we can see that Matthias has got nothing there at the moment. He's also tried to get his MCV on a little bit of a runaway, so we're going to have to chase that down. But we'll take these ore refineries out first and clear up these buildings here, so he can't build any more on this little expansion. And then we're going to chase down his MCV, which is running away now into the middle of the map, and you can see Pink there with the naval yard out, and we'll just destroy that expansion. Yeah, you can just see there's the transport ship, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and get that down, and unfortunately I think he just gets it away, but he's going to have a little bit of trouble there actually, because yellow's around the area, so he might actually lose that. And we're going to also destroy that naval yard, so he can't go for any attacks. And you can see there Matthias getting out a cruiser, which can do some good damage to buildings and also tanks, but I mean, one cruiser isn't like super effective on its own, but when you get a number, they can be absolutely deadly. And now we can see yellow there with a chrono tank, and he's actually taken out all of my ore refineries on my starting island, so I'm going to need to get that economy back up and running. One of the things about this map is that there's no safe areas. You can get attacked absolutely anywhere, and that's why I did get the radar done quite early, but when you're focusing on battles at one place, it's very hard to notice things going on at other places. And I'm absolutely amazed that that ore refinery has stayed alive so long, and that gem island has almost been used up right now, so getting good value from that. And yeah, it seems like that's the last thing to be destroyed. But yellow now, we can see those naval units in the middle of the map, and they are plentiful, and there's no way I'm going to be able to be getting a base and naval units out in the middle. So that's going to be a bit of a problem for me at the moment. I do have plenty of naval units though around the outside. It's just that yellow hasn't been destroyed. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be taking a transport ship up to the top. And now what I can see on my radar dome is that Matthias is getting set up in the top left part of the map. And I'm going to really need to get something closer to there and try and sort of get some units out just to stop Matthias expanding, because once he's in two islands now, he's going to have quite a few resources. Remember, if you look at where I am on the map, I've only expanded to 2 areas so far, and now you can see actually Matthias is in the middle of the map as well, so we're going to have to take out that expansion. And the problem is yellow is all around that middle area, and I just keep on getting absolutely hammered by him. But we need to get this ore refinery down. We can't let Matthias keep on expanding. We're just going to have to fight yellow at the same time, though, unfortunately, with those naval units. But we'll get a couple of kills, hopefully, there. Yeah, 2 destroyers going down, and another destroyer on very low HP. Just one more hit, I think, was needed, and that would have gone down too. And I haven't been able to secure this middle island like I would have wanted to. I'm just able to build on the very outskirts, and I've got some naval units coming up now around the outside, but we can see there yellow's little army there. He's also got a transport ship there as well, and I mean, all the time that we spend waiting, that's going to give Matthias a chance to get a bit stronger. We've also got the person in the bottom right as well. He's been constantly mining, and he'll be building up units as well and waiting for a return at the right time. But now I'm going to get my economy going back on the starting island, and I'm going to need to get some defences up just to take care of that chrono tank, which managed to destroy those ore refineries a bit earlier on. I'm just going to need to get another turret just to get in range of that chrono tank, because they can do quite good damage, especially if you don't notice where they are and something else is going on at the time. And we can see a cruiser there circling around that gem island, but the gem island's not too much use anymore, and you can see just like a few shots from that chrono tank and that turret was almost taken out. Another couple of shots I think was needed there, and now Yellow moving his naval units to the right part of the map because he sees me moving around the outside, so he's going to try and get a few kills. And this actually works in my favour because I've got this base now in the top left, and that's going to help me just get some destroyers out there, and those that cruiser, the isolated cruiser in the top, well, in the left side of the map, is just doing some damage to that construction yard, and it looks like that construction yard is definitely going to go down. I don't have any funds to repair, and also I'm in trouble with this now because Matthias has brought some tanks to my starting area. He's also destroyed my tech centre, and those light tanks are going to go down, but they've done some major damage, so I've lost 2 construction yards and a tech centre in very, very close succession. So this puts me in a little bit more of a difficult spot. I do have good tank numbers, so I've also got some good destroyer numbers. And now we're going to the top right of the map. We're going to go, this is where Matthias' starting base was, and it looks like there's some cruisers there firing on our destroyers, so we're going to see what we can do at this point. And they're having a little bit of a battle with Yellow there with 2 cruisers, and now these destroyers in the top right. Matthias has got 4 cruisers there, but I'm going to try and take them out and sort of get his starting base a little bit surrounded. So just firing on them and moving my destroyers around as much as I can. Unfortunately, what's happening now is I'm trying to fight in multiple areas at once, so I can't micro as well as I would want to, but we have to win this battle here. We've got that cruiser down, and now we're going to go for that naval yard, and we're just going to get our destroyers just surrounding that area and make it very difficult for him to do anything. We'll also take out some of those ore refineries and also some of the ore trucks. He's trying to pump out another destroyer there, but that's not going to work. And now we're going to be able to get some of those buildings, which are very close to the shoreline. The only problem is I can't see much at the moment in the right side of the middle part of the map, so there could be chronospheres of MCVs there, and there might be base building in those parts, so I don't quite know at the moment. Just getting those tanks to the top part of the map, and I'm going to need to like get a bit more visibility. And now getting another MCV out, what I'm going to do is try to expand to different parts as much as I can, and maybe do an MCV drop in Matthias's base.
Yes, sir.
So I've got the transport ship there, and I'm going to be starting to build some tanks. But there you can see Matthias with the cruiser, and that's done some damage to my war factory. So I've lost one of my war factories. I'm going to need to move that MCV. I'm going to move it further up, get it away from that cruiser. Now I don't know if that cruiser is being chronoed in or whether it's come from his main base, but I do need to get that MCV to a safer location. And now I've just packed some tanks into that transport ship, which I'm going to take to Matthias's starting base, and now just trying to find an area there where I can sort of deploy that MCV in a bit of a safer area away from that cruiser. And because I've got my gap generators there, he's not going to be able to see where the MCV's gone, and he doesn't know where it is, so it's safe for the time being. I just need to make sure I keep my power on and that he doesn't get line of sight of that. And I can still see Yellow's navy just going out the shroud there, so he's still got like a decent naval units in the middle of that map. We just sort of gave up on it quite a bit of time ago now. Now we're going to go to Matthias's starting base. The question is, are we going to be able to get an MCV deployed there? And are we going to be able to, are these tanks going to be able to do quite a bit of damage? I can just see a power plant there. And the thing is, if any units come to attack us, I do have naval destroyers around that area. And now I've also got a barracks out as well, so I'm going to be able to produce some Tanyas to make light work of those buildings. I'm also going to build some base defences as well, just to help me a little bit. And now the Tanya coming out. Let's see what we can do here. Destroying some of the main buildings, power plant, barracks, another power plant. And we'll be able to get those other buildings like the construction yard, gap generator. So a lot of those main buildings going down. And also that war factory as well. So that's basically the starting base of Matthias. Is out of commission. And we're going to be able to take over this island and use it for its resources. Because what we can see is quite a lot of the resources are still left. And I've got 3 Tanyas there, which I'm going to be taking, well, 4 Tanyas actually, which I'm going to be taking to another part of the map. And another MCV from Matthias appearing in another part of the map. And I'm going to need to be building some tanks and going for that MCV that's being built there. Yeah, just trying to get those tanks around. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that transport ship to the top left area with those 4 Tanyas. And we're going to see what damage we can do to that base. Because that's sort of the next biggest base, or the next stronghold, which Matthias has. And we're also going to be sending some tanks to that other position in the middle of the map. But let's see what damage we can do here. I can just see some destroyers going in there, and there's no way I'm going to be able to go to that part. And we can see him packing up some tanks into a transport ship, so that's all good for us at the moment, because we've got some Tanyas which are going to be about to enter his base. So let's see what we can do here. Getting closer to his base, he's got a turret there. Turrets don't do very much damage against Tanyas. He's also trying to sell some of his buildings just to get the units. I'm going to be able to destroy that chronosphere, and also there's that tech center as well. It's going to go down, and that's going to reduce Matthias' visibility a lot. He's also got a pillbox out, which is a good idea at this point, because obviously the pillboxes are good against Tanyas, but because the Tanyas are so close to where he's deployed them, we're being able to take out a few of them and losing that last Tanya. Oh, that was the last Tanya actually, but managing to get that war factory just at the end there. The thing is though, he's still got an ore refinery, so he's going to be still getting resources from that top left position. And I'm getting an ore refinery in that top right position to start making use of the resources on that part of the map. The only thing is, all the time I spend fighting Matthias, I know that Cyan, who's in the bottom right, is going to be getting stronger and stronger. And we can see that Cyan, from the radar dome, he does have a base in the middle of the map. But I'm not going to be focused on that at the moment. I'm just focused on this battle. I'm going to need to take one opponent out at a time. Obviously, I took yellow out early on. And now I'm going into the top left of the map. And that destroyer army seems bigger than Matthias' army. He's got a couple of cruisers there. We should be able to take out that naval yard and both those cruisers as well. Hopefully we'll be... Yeah, we've got the naval yard out. We're going to go for the cruisers now. And once we've taken them out, we will have a pretty much stronghold on this top left position. So that next cruiser going down as well. He's got a couple more power plants built there. But crucially, we're going to be able to get that ore refinery out of the way, and now taking out this position now in the middle of the map. There's an ore refinery there as well, taken out, and hopefully now we've got Matthias' economy out, like, all gone, and we can see that construction yard going to the middle. He's going towards Cyan's base actually, so I don't know if Cyan's going to be able to take that out. We're not going to let him get through though, because we're going to have our medium tanks chasing him right at the moment. We've also got yellow here firing on our tanks, and now I'm just going to pull back because I don't want to get in a fight with Cyan right at the moment. I want to make sure that Matthias is completely out of the game first before getting in another fight. But we'll just take out some of these buildings here. That gap generator goes down, and also those power plants. And it doesn't look like Matthias has got anything left. I certainly haven't seen anything anywhere. But I do have very little visibility at the moment. I don't even have a radar dome because I can't. Yeah,
Unit ready.
Yeah, I've got. I'm pretty sure that was Matthias' last MCV. So what I'm going to be able to do now, I've got a bit of breathing space. I'm going to be able to start getting set up again and just having a bit of a look around. What I've noticed is that. Oh, and there's Matthias with some tanks. Where is he going for the attack? Does he have a good MCV there? It doesn't look like it, but he's just going to try and do any damage he can to my bottom middle base. My bottom left base has already been taken out by Matthias. He's going on to the next base now, and now he's going on to the ore refinery. The thing is, I do have another ore refinery, but he's going for the construction yard, and that construction yard looks like it's going to go down. And yes, indeed it does. I didn't have enough resources to start repairing it, and now I'm in a pretty crucial position. I do need to get those construction yards out. I've only got one construction yard and one war factory left. And we can see here that yellow has somehow in fact survived. And I think that transport ship earlier had an MCV inside and he's been able to deploy it in the middle island. But we can see that Cyan is starting to take that out with some air forces, and those helicopters could do some real damage to my base. As I was saying, I only have one construction yard and one war factory left, and if those were taken out, I would be effectively out of the game and there would be no coming back. But getting that MCV out, so at least I've got an extra MCV, 2 MCVs, so that's all good. And I'm going to get that radar dome out now so I can actually see what's going on in the other areas of the map. And just having a bit of a look around now just to see what my position is. I do have a lot of destroyers there in the middle bottom of the map, and I'm just going to congregate my destroyers around that area and take some of my tanks there as well and just get a bit grouped up. And Matthias is officially out of the game. I'm just having a bit of a look at yellow there. He's only got a few buildings left and it looks like he doesn't have a construction yard or a war factory, so that means he's effectively he's losing his barracks now, so that's going to put him out of the game as well. And we can just see some cyan buildings just above them, and they're going to be in range of my destroyers, so I am going to get them around. I've also got the tech centre coming. I'm just going to stop that building now because just having to think what I'd need it for right at the moment. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to get this transport ship around here because I'm going to get an MCV back to my starting island and rebuild my economy there. You can see that the ore has actually expanded quite a little bit, so there's plenty of ore there, so it's going to be a good place to get some resources. And just having a bit of a halt on production at the moment of both boats and tanks. I've got plenty of them. I've got much better forces than my opponents. I should be absolutely fine in that department. And now I can sort of like start just stop the production of those. I'm going to build another MCV and I'm going to build a ore refinery there, and you can see the other ore trucks working as well, so that's going to be really helpful for my economy. And that's going to put me back on track, and I'll be able to start producing units again. I'm also going to go for the tech centre. I want to be able to build some cruisers, which I can't right at the moment because of when the last naval yards were built. And now we're going to be just taking out some of those buildings of Cyan. And we can see that Cyan, I don't think, has any buildings left in that section of the map. I've just got another MCV now though, because now that the top left island is free, I'm going to go there as well and get some resources. And now getting that tech centre down, going to get some gap generators up in the different parts of the map. That's why I wanted it, just so I could get some shroud covered over. And now that transport ship going over to the top left position. And just getting plenty of power plants there just to make sure my gap generators are going to be working. And now we're putting them in that top right position, just getting a bit more protection in that part of the map for those units near the shoreline. And just having a bit of a look around now, you can see my destroyer numbers are big, but they're going to be taking some damage off those cruisers at the other side of that gap, so I'm going to need to take them out of there. And what we're going to do is we're going to sort of surround Cyan's base. We can see that Cyan has some ore trucks in the middle of the map, but they haven't got any ore refinery to go to, so they're a bit stuck at the moment. And I think this is like we're sort of totally in control now, and it's just a matter of time before we're able to win this game. And just taking that MCV out at the top left position. So this game was quite interesting. I think the big thing about this game was getting the control of the middle early on. I sort of like got control of the land part, so I was able to take out Yellow's base and Cyan's base. If Yellow had been able to survive that attack from me on the land, then Yellow would have been in a winning position because they would have had total control of the middle part. I had control of the land, Yellow had control of the water, and that made it very hard for me at the start because I was like taking tanks around and they were getting destroyed by the naval units, which was making it obviously very, very difficult for myself. Just having a little bit of a wonder there and just try and get some of that shroud uncovered. But you can see those ships there, those cruisers, just doing some great damage to my medium tanks. So I'm going to need to get them out of there now. I've just uncovered that part of the map. and just have to decide what I'm going to do now. You can see my destroyer numbers so are absolutely huge. I'd also possibly be able to get into the middle of the map, although it'd be a long journey around the map and then having to destroy some bridges to get there. So probably not feasible at this point in time, because I don't see this game lasting too much longer. And those helicopters coming in, and what I've just done is I've undeployed that MCV, so the helicopters are now going to go back to the base, and I'm going to put up a gas generator just to keep it a bit hidden. We'll have to see those helicopters now coming back, but this time they're going for the ore refinery, and we'll have to see, is that ore refinery going to survive, or is it going to go down? It's on quite low HP, but it's managed to survive. I think it went unread for a second there, but yeah, just not enough helicopters, 2 or 3 more, and that would have probably gone down. And now our naval army is charging towards Cyan's base, and you can see those light tanks going down, and there's absolutely nothing you can do here. Also, those destroyers are going to be able to fire on air units, and Cyan has officially left the game. And what I'm going to do now is just wind it on to the end, because it was on destroy all. And that is the last unit being killed. And it's, yeah, just running around a little bit, and that is officially good game. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.